Hello and welcome. Today we are doing a pick a card reading to uncover what guidance the universe has for you to help you be delusional around money. So how you can more fully know and believe the wealth you desire is already yours, regardless of whatever your 3D physical material reality looks like. Because when you can know and believe and actually access the energy and that knowing that what you want is already done, then what you want manifests at lightning speed. So this is a timeless reading. Anytime you find this video is exactly when you need to hear the messages here. As we dive into this reading together, please, as always, remember that you are the creator of your reality. So always take what you need from these readings, take what resonates, and leave what doesn't. Find your own truths, clarity, and alignment in these readings, whatever that looks like for you. And if you are new here, then welcome. I'm so glad you have found this video and this channel. My name is Taylor Eaton, and I am the author of the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck, which is one of the decks that I have for you to pick from today. So, a couple of notes for you before we dive in. First, pre-order is currently open for the next print run of the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck. So if you want to reserve your copy and get it as soon as possible once it starts to ship, the link to pre-order is in the description and pinned comment below. The deck is actually now available for order, not even pre-order, just order, and now available to ship when you order through my publisher, Muse Oracle Press. I created this deck specifically for use in abundance or money and success readings. So if you want to be able to get the guidance you need at any time to manifest more abundance into your life, then the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck is for you. Second note for you, if you want support in fully embodying the wealth you desire and living that delusion in order to manifest the wealth you want more quickly than ever before, you are absolutely welcome to come join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership. I created this low-cost membership to be a place where you can find all of the resources, support, and community you need to manifest more wealth into your life. We have new challenges every month in the membership to help you integrate new money manifesting habits and modalities. Plus, we have a book club, exclusive mini readings that I do in there, money meditations, opportunities for personalized card pulls from me, a supportive community, and just so much more to truly help you step into the most powerful, unstoppable, wealthy self. So come check out the membership if it calls to you. I would love to get to personally connect with you there. The link for the Wealth Vibe membership is in the description and pinned comment below. And our final note for you, I do not offer private readings outside of the Wealth Vibe membership. So please do not be scammed by anyone in the comments or on other social media platforms pretending to be me, because I will never message you and ask you to pay me for a reading. Now, let's run through the decks and their crystals so that if you haven't already, you can tune into which deck or decks you are being called to for your reading. So today we have deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, and deck 4. And in case you like to pick by crystal, we'll run through those and I'll give you a quick little close-up. So for deck 1, we have our Amethyst crystal. For deck 2, we have our Pyrite crystal. For deck 3, we have Aragonite. And for deck 4, we have our Fire Quartz. We will be incorporating multiple decks into each of the readings, and I will list all of the decks used in this video in the description box below. You can absolutely watch more than one of the readings if more than one deck is calling to you. That just means that there is guidance for you in each of those readings. So if you need to pause the video now, take however long you need to tune into your inner guidance, your intuition, and see which deck or decks are calling to you, and then click the timestamps below in the description to jump to whichever deck or decks that you were called to, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, deck number 1. This is your reading to uncover what guidance the universe has to help you be able to be more delusional around money. And when I say delusional, I'm speaking from that law of assumption perspective, that ability to live in the end, meaning your ability to mentally, emotionally, spiritually feel wildly abundant, to feel and believe fully that the money you desire is already yours, despite whatever your bank balance says or anyone tells you or your reality seems to be showing you at this moment. This is all about how to live in that desired version of your reality right now. Because when you can cut out the need for the physical money to show up in order to feel and think like you have money or the money you want, then you will vibrate at a different point of attraction around money, and you'll start taking different actions than you normally would, which can all lead to new levels of abundance for yourself. Personally, I have manifested hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last couple of years purely by being delusional about money or my financial reality. But of course, as we dive into this reading, remember that nothing I'm channeling here is suggesting that you be irresponsible with your finances or needlessly spending around money. Living the delusion doesn't necessarily mean spending money you don't have. It means knowing the money you want is already yours, being confident that it's coming or it's already here, and fully feeling like it and seeing the world through that perspective. So I will be doing this reading to identify what you need to hear to help you be able to live that delusion of having all the wealth you desire so that the money can come to you all the faster. So that's just kind of like my little intro spiel, because I think sometimes there's that confusion around what it means to be delusional, right? And of course, if you want more support in unlocking your full potential for manifesting money and success, you are absolutely welcome to join me inside of the Wealth Guide membership for all of the resources, support, habits, and community that you need to do so. The link for the Wealth Guide is in the description and pinned comment below. I truly created that membership, that space, as an online oasis or portal where you can practice living the delusion. It's such a positive and expansive space filled with tons of resources to help you do just that. So come join if you feel called. But right now we're gonna grab your first card. I want to get a card first of just like what you need to hear to release any resistance you might have around living the delusion, right? There's a lot of resistance that can come up for us through that. So I want to get a couple cards for you here on that. And we'll start with these and see what came up. So first we have talk to the moon. Talk to the moon, communicate. We also have moon shining, stay in integrity. And we have moon cycles, patience. Okay, so what I'm pulling right now for this card or this message of what you need to hear to release that resistance to being delusional. What I'm seeing here is, do you think you'll sound crazy? Do you think people will perceive you as crazy? Or do you think people will perceive you as being out of integrity? If you are delusional, if you choose to believe and live in this inner world of believing that the wealth you desire is already yours, right? Is that some sort of fear within you, right? Take a moment and just tune into that. Deck 1. Take a moment, tune into, am I worried about how others are going to perceive me if I choose to believe and speak and act like I have more wealth or more success than I already do? Am I afraid I'll even get in trouble for it? Or that I will, people will think I'm a liar, or people will think that I sound crazy? Where is the fear of, what are you afraid of people perceiving in you if you choose to see the world how you want to see it rather than how it's being presented to you right now? Because truthfully, we live in a society that preaches patience, and it preaches, especially around money, right? And it preaches a lot of this sense of you're insane, you're crazy, you're irrational, you're illogical, you live in an alternate reality if you are saying, I'm so wealthy and yet you can barely pay your bills, right? Or I'm a millionaire, but if someone were to look at your bank account, you'd have $3,000 in it, right? People, we're taught in our society that's we don't get to say something is so until it manifests into our physical reality, but that keeps us so stuck. And here's the great secret that the universe wants me to share with you. Here's the great secret. My channel is really coming through strong here, my collective I channel from. And they're saying, deck 1, and this is such a huge permission slip. I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about this because this is what I needed to hear. so many years ago, and it's still something I come back to reminding myself of so frequently. And it's just so powerful. But the universe really wants you to know and wants you to hear and understand that no one and nothing outside of yourself can tell you how you see yourself and how you see the world. No one else gets to tell you that. It is not out of integrity for you to to decide that you see yourself as for example, a millionaire. There's nothing out of integrity with deciding to see yourself in a new way, to decide to create a vision for yourself of who you want to become. There's nothing out of integrity about that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how we shape our destiny. Otherwise, it's shaped for us by our subconscious, by our circumstances, by the society around us, by the circumstances outside of us. So the universe is really saying it's not out of integrity to choose the identity you want to inhabit, to choose the reality you want to create for yourself, and live from that place from within first, and see yourself and see the world through the eyes of that version of you. There's nothing wrong with that. The only place where you come out of integrity is if you go around saying, I'm a millionaire, so you should, pay me to teach you how to be a millionaire. It's like, have you learned the lessons that would allow you to share that? No, you haven't learned those lessons yet. You're becoming that version of you, right? So there's that line to walk, but the universe is saying, you know what the line is, right? We even have this line in the middle of the road here. You know what the line is. You're walking it perfectly. We have this image of this person on this line. You're walking the line perfectly. You are in integrity as long as you don't start telling objective lies or taking advantage of people from a dishonest place or for personal gain. That's not a line. That's ego. But when you're coming truly from living the delusion of inhabiting an inner world of who you want to become, being that person now, when you live from that place, that's living the delusion. You talk like it. You act like it, you carry yourself like it. Yeah, people might say you're crazy. They might say that you're lying to yourself, but who cares? That's their perception, right? That's their perception. You're not doing anything wrong by choosing to shape yourself intentionally into who you want to become, into who you are being, into the version of yourself who already has the wealth you desire before it shows up. There's nothing out of integrity in that. There's nothing crazy about that. That is how you take the reins of your life, how you become the master of your destiny. And that's what the universe is inviting you to step into. To release that resistance to how you're going to be perceived. Because if you live your whole life with how are people going to perceive me, deck one, you'll never live your life. Wow, that is powerful guidance. That just came out of my mouth. You will never live your life. You'll live someone else's life, or an amalgamation of other people's opinions on what your life should look like. It's time for you to live your life, is what the universe is saying. How much are you living your life? Your life, the life you want to live, rather than the life you've been told you should live, especially when it comes to how you view money, how you expect money to show up, how you see yourself in relationship to wealth or success. How much are you living the way you want to live and from the perspective and the point of view you want to live versus other people's society telling you this is how you should feel because you make X amount, so you should feel this way, or you're middle class, you're poor, you're rich, you're like, drop all the labels that anyone else is giving you. Find your own labels. Find your own identities that you want to step into and step into them fearlessly. There might be a little bit of patience required of you to start to shed these layers of conditioning of other people's expectations and rules and what they've told you, and society's rules and what it's told you of who you should be and the stories you should tell around how you should only talk about what's currently happening in your life or what's happened before in your finances, and nothing that you're deciding to create. Right? It's so interesting that we, as a society, have kind of created this culture of not just around money, but around anything, but especially money and wealth, is we say you don't get to call yourself something unless it's happened in the past or it's currently happening now, right? You don't get to call yourself something that you want to become. But when you think about it, this was a journey I had to go through when I was a writer. I was becoming an author, right? It's like I started writing over a decade ago. Well, I started writing like 20 plus years ago when I was an adolescent. And a long time I said, I want to be a writer, right? That was my dream job when I grew up. I want to be a writer. And then I would I would always think one day I'll be a writer. And then I got into my early mid-20s and I was writing more and I was getting published in literary magazines. But before any of the publications happened, I had to tell myself, you are a writer because you sit down and you write every day, because you love the craft, because you work on the craft. You're a writer because you dedicate yourself to this. I had to see myself as a writer before the publications showed up. No one else would necessarily call me an author or a writer until I got published, or until I at least self-published a book, right? Online, like no one would really say that unless I had something quantifiable to show it for it. But I knew long before the publication showed up, I had that shift of when I decided I'm a writer. I'm not going to become a writer one day. I am a writer. It's the same thing for you of you get to decide who you're becoming and you get to be that person now. So in terms of wealth, you get to say, if you want to be a millionaire, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I'm going to think like a millionaire. I'm going to act like a millionaire. I'm going to educate myself like a millionaire. I'm going to act like that version of me who has the millions of dollars would be acting right now, or thinking or feeling, or looking at the world from that same perspective. You get to decide that now. Deck one. And then continue to step into that and hold that delusion and embody it more and more. And then the money comes up. You get to remember who you're becoming. That's what I'm getting at here, is what the message is. When you do that, you're not only going to, maybe you sound crazy to some people, but you also don't have to tell everyone that this is what you're doing. It's very much an internal game in a lot of ways. But this is how you're also going to communicate to the universe of what you want and who you want to become and what you're calling in. And it communicates your readiness to be able to hold all the wealth you desire. So there's a lot there for you. It's a lot to unpack. But it's really beautiful, and what a gorgeous message. It's like there's no one gets to tell you who you get to be or who you're becoming or how you see yourself or the world. You gotta call yourself who you are, who you want to be, who you're becoming now. You don't have to wait for it to happen in order to assume that identity, in order to become that version of you. Right? And that's what the universe is saying. You really have to release. You have to hear that. You have to understand that, and maybe dig into that and journal on that a little bit after this, to really release that resistance to being delusional. Because a lot of times we're like, I can't say that because that's crazy. And it's like, be a little bit crazy. Be a little bit crazy. Because when you dream big, like when you think about the people who've achieved the most phenomenal things in this world, think about the people who have, written the biggest books, the greatest, created the big impacts on the world, the huge companies, all that. Like, there are people who they dream big. They dreamed of things that other people looked at them until it happened and said, you're crazy. But they decided beforehand that they were the person that was going to make those things happen, that they were going to be that billionaire, that millionaire. They were going to be that best-selling author. They were going to be that writer. They were going to be that multimillionaire, that CEO, whatever it is, right? So you got to do the same. Time for you to be reborn, right? The Wealthy Woman Oracle deck says, let yourself be reborn, right? Let yourself be reborn. I'm pulling right now for what you need to hear to be delusional. Let yourself be reborn every moment. This is a really great practical exercise for you. This is something I did when I was kind of quantum leaping and being delusional about, I was barely making $2,000 a month in my business about 5 or so years ago. And every moment that I'd catch myself worrying about money or thinking, how do I make more money or anything, like those were all thoughts that the version of me who barely made $2,000 a month was having. I was like, that's not the version of me. I wouldn't be having those thoughts when I'm making $20,000 a month. So instead, whenever I caught those thoughts, I allowed myself to be reborn in every moment. Like I'd be washing dishes in my kitchen and I'd be worrying about how am I going to make money? How am I going to get to $20,000 a month? So I was like, if I were making $20,000 a month, I would not be worrying about how to make $20,000 a month. It'd already be happening. Instead, I'd be going, wow, I'm so glad I make $20,000 a month. This is amazing. I'm so grateful for this. I love my clients. I love my business, all those sorts of things. So I'd be just celebrating. So each moment that I could consciously think of throughout the day, I'd bring conscious awareness to it. Whether I was washing dishes or working on something in my business, I would consciously allow myself to be reborn into the version of me who had $20,000 already a month. And then within 6 weeks of doing that consistently, like relentlessly, and living that delusion and being like, I already have it. It's already done. I already have it. And just being that version of me who already had it, living that delusion, embodying it so fully, within 6.5 weeks, I was making 20K months. I taught something similar with this with our Quantum Leap Challenge inside the membership, the Wealth Guide membership a couple months ago. So if you want to come check out, those instructions are still there. But truly, every moment is an opportunity for you to be reborn. So bringing conscious awareness to your day-to-day moments of when you continue to be in the habits inhabiting the version of you who's exactly where you are right now, and allowing yourself to be reborn into the version of you you want to become, into living that delusion, into already having the wealth you desire on that inner state, that mental level. This will take some patience again, right? It'll take some patience. This is rewiring your brain, right? I've made a whole career out of teaching people to do exactly this sort of stuff. Right now, where I do it the most is inside the Wealth Vibe membership. Because this is so hard, it takes time to rewire a lifetime of waiting to feel like you can finally claim who you want to be in that identity of wealth. You got to claim that now. And the more you can do that over time, the more it's going to rewire you, right? And the more it's going to lead you into a season of wealth. Which is just so perfect. The more that, as you start to embrace being reborn every moment of allowing your identity around money to shift and be fluid, the more that you're going to find that your financial reality will start to kind of, all the things that no longer serve you will fall away. And new opportunities will start to bloom, and you'll start to, over time, find yourself in this new season of wealth, this new chapter of your life where more money's coming in, right? If you find yourself like you feel like you've been in the same season with money or success for months or years now, it's because you're being the same person all the time. The way out is to be a little delusional, to allow yourself to remember, again, I keep saying, like, remember who you're becoming. Remember who you're becoming. Even think back, you can even look at it like right now, narrate what you're doing right now as though it was a memory in the past that leads you to the wealth you desire. So, for example, if you're, because you're listening to this right now, you could say, I remember, like, say this right now to yourself. I remember watching this video from Taylor. And I remember that afterwards, something just landed and clicked so deeply for me that then I went and I did this thing, and that led to this big idea. And then that led me to this opportunity for money. And then that led me to all of this money suddenly pouring in. And within like 2 or 3 months, my life was completely different. Do you see how it's like, even like just like living almost like right now is the past in a way? Like you're remembering who you're becoming in a way and how this moment led to what you desire. That won't resonate with everyone is what I'm getting. It's a little bit out there of a concept, but I do that sometimes when I feel like I'm stuck in being that old version of me and I need to be reborn. And it's so interesting because our minds are very good at predicting the future based on the past, right? So in order to create a different future and kind of veer off the trajectory you're already on and get on a new one around money, you have to be willing to even imagine and believe and live the delusion of something different happening from what's been happening in your life so far. So this is kind of your invitation to do that as well. I feel like we're going really, really deep with these messages for you, deck one. But again, take what resonates. If some of this is too esoteric, too kind of mind-bendy, just leave it and just go with the messages that resonate with you, right? We have, when I'm tuned into the energy of abundance, I become abundant. I couldn't have picked a better card for you here. This truly is when you are inhabiting, when you are embodying, when you are just inundating yourself with that energy of abundance, with feeling the wealth you have before the wealth you desire actually shows up in your bank or wherever you want to show up. You become abundant. Like that's how you call abundance in. We often are waiting for the money to show up in order to feel like we're wealthy, in order to feel like we're rich, in order to, like I said, call ourselves that, use those labels. It's backwards because you're creating your reality. So if you consistently say, one day I'll be rich, one day I want to be rich, you will always, that one day never comes. We only ever have now. So you will always be holding it at arm's length. Be rich now. Call yourself rich now, even. Call yourself abundant now. When I make joy a priority, brilliant ideas will come naturally. Support will surround me and movements will form. Again, making joy a priority. And again, you can let me know in the comments. How many of you watching deck one envision that you'll have, when you have the wealth you desire, that next level of wealth, that you'll feel miserable? Does anyone feel that? My wager is no. We always think that when we have more money, we'll feel happier because maybe we'll have more freedom or more sense of security, all that sort of stuff. Rather, if you've attached the idea of when I have more money, I'll be happier, you have to be happier first, and then the money can come in. If in your mind that's a rule, if that's how you see your next level of abundance, that when I have more money, more wealth, more success, whatever it is, then I'll be happy. The feeling has to precede the manifestation, because the feeling is what creates manifestation, is part of that equation. So if you have it, because here's the thing, there's no cosmic rule that says you have to be happy or joyful to make money. There's no rule that says that's the case. There's a lot of people out there who are making a lot of money and are miserable. So it's not an objective rule, but so many of us have made that a rule in our minds, usually on a subconscious level. So if that's something that resonates with you, that you have that idea of when I have more money, I'll be happier in some way, I'll be more joyful, life will feel more joyful, you're going to have to feel the joy first before the money comes up, or you got to kind of untangle that whole idea and completely do that deep work to heal it. Sometimes it's just easier to feel happy rather than have to dig into the subconscious beliefs that tell you that the money is the key to happiness. It's like, well, then make happiness happen first, then the money will follow, right? There's different ways we can go about getting around those sorts of blocks, but that is something that is going to help you to start to really shift into, again, those ideas and the people and the communities and the momentum that's going to bring more abundance your way. So some kind of interesting insights for you there. Let's pull some last couple cards for you. Help you kind of live that delusion, right? Soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. I want to get one more card for you here because I feel like there's more message. Wait, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. Ooh, and we had our patience card over here. So what I'm getting here from my guides is that you are, oh, deck one. You're in a kind of a holding pattern is what I keep getting, especially with these two cards. You're in something of a holding pattern because you're being called, right, to step up. You're being called to step into your power as the creator of your reality. I'm getting that a lot of you are also being called to step into actually pursuing what it is you truly want to do to make money, or, changing jobs, starting that business, or just, applying for that promotion or whatever it is. There's something that you want to do that your soul's been called to that you're not doing. And I think in some ways it seems like it's tied to feeling like you're not successful enough yet. You aren't rich enough yet to do those things. Like you're waiting on the money or the external success as the permission slip in order to do that thing you feel called to. The universe calls BS. It says, start taking steps towards that. Start at least seeing yourself as that version of you who is already doing that stuff. Live that delusion of already having the dream job you desire, of seeing yourself as already being the version of you who has that business that you want to start, whatever it is that you're truly called to. Start living that delusion. And as you do that, then the waiting period, the patient, it comes to an end, right? But the universe is waiting. It's waiting for you. Ooh, very interesting. You're not having to wait. The universe is waiting on you. The universe is waiting. Look at this even. This is a person touching like a galaxy, right? Like this isn't, even just this image on the card is fantastic. It's not like, oh, just the universe is creating things. It's like the universe is waiting for you to step forward, for you to become delusional, for you to become the version of you, embody the thoughts, the feelings, even some of the actions as much as you can with, in alignment with responsibility. The universe is waiting for you to embody on all levels that version of you who already is doing what they desire to do, to create wealth, who's prioritizing joy, who's feeling abundant, who's seeing themselves, who's allowing themselves every moment to be reborn into that wealthier version of them and remember who they want to become. And when you do that, the universe is waiting for you. And that's when all that wealth you desire starts to come in. So really, really cool, deck one. That's your reading. I hope some of that, we went really deep at the beginning there, so I hope some of that kind of shook some stuff loose for you, right? Really shook, brought to the light, I want to say, some of the places you might be blocked around money, you might be blocked around living that delusion, so that you can really step forward and move from there. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, deck one. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below letting me know what you took from this reading and how it resonated. I truly appreciate your comments and hearing how these readings connect with you. It means the world to me. So thank you for your support and for sharing your thoughts on these readings. You are, of course, welcome to subscribe to my channel for future card readings for abundance if you're not already subscribed. And if you want to come join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership so you can get access to all of the resources, support, and community you need to fully embody the wealth you desire, live that delusion, and more easily manifest the wealth you want into your life, then I would love to get to connect with you there inside the membership. The link for it is in the description and pinned comment below. Ooh, and I just saw 1111 for you. So if you've been waiting for a sign to join the Wealth Vibe membership, that might be it for you. Or maybe that's a sign otherwise, but take that as you will. Now, if you want to pre-order or order actually your copy of the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck so you can get divine guidance on demand for all things money and abundance, the link for that is also in the description and pinned comment below. After you order, if you order by the end of this month, by the end of May 2024, be sure to claim your copy of the exclusive 2-hour wealth activation reading that I'm giving away for free as a thank you to everyone who supports the deck during this initial launch phase of our current print run. The link to claim that exclusive reading is below as well. So with all that being said, I'm wishing you massive prosperity and abundance and blissful delusion, deck one, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye. Hello, deck number 2. This is your reading to uncover what guidance the universe has to help you be able to be more delusional around money. And I'm going to give you a little spiel on what I mean about delusional here, because I think there's often some misunderstandings with that. And I want to make sure we're all on the same page so this reading really lands, right? So when I say delusional, I'm speaking from that law of assumption perspective, that ability to live in the end, meaning your ability to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually feel wildly abundant, to feel and believe fully that the money you desire is already yours, despite what your bank balance says or what anyone tells you or what your reality seems to be showing you right now. This really is all about how to live in that desired version of your reality right now. Because when you can cut out the need for the physical money to show up in order to feel or think like you have the money you want, then you vibrate at a different point of attraction around money and take different actions than you normally would, which can all lead to new levels of abundance for yourself. I have personally manifested hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last couple of years purely by being delusional about money or my financial reality, living in kind of a different internal state, seeing the world through the eyes of the version of me who already has the wealth I desire, right? But of course, as we dive into this reading, remember that nothing I'm channeling here is suggesting to be irresponsible with your finances or needlessly spending around money that you don't have, right? Living the delusion doesn't necessarily mean spending money you don't have. It means knowing the money you want is already yours, being confident that it's coming or is already here, and fully feeling like it and seeing the world through that perspective. So, something to keep in mind. As I am doing this reading, I'm going to identify what you need to hear to help you be able to live that delusion of having all the wealth you desire, right? We'll probably shed some light on some blocks, shed some light on where you can, kind of activate things a little bit more. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Of course, if you want more support in unlocking your full potential, we're going to bring that card out. Your first card is just flying out. That full potential for manifesting money and success, you are absolutely welcome to join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership for all of the resources, support, habits, and community you need to do so. That link is in the description and pinned comment below. I created the Wealth Vibe membership specifically as a space, as like an online oasis, a portal where you can practice living the delusion. It's such a positive and expansive space. It's filled with tons of resources to help you live that delusion, to help you do just that. So come join in if you feel called to. Clearly your cards are flying out for you. So what I was wanting to pull for first, which already has just come out, is What do you need to hear to release resistance around being delusional, right? So many of us, the reason we, of course, if it were easy to live the delusion, we wouldn't have all these millions of YouTube videos about how to be delusional, how to live in the end, how to, be delusional in order to manifest whatever it is that you desire, right? So clearly it's a hard thing for people to do. It's often because we're so programmed by society that you don't get to say that you have something or that you are a label, right, until you've already achieved it in the physical reality and others can observe it. But that's so backwards, right? You have to be willing to consciously create your reality. And what I'm getting for you here with our first cards, wow, really cool cards, is especially with this breath of abundance that just came flying out as soon as I picked the deck up, right? I'm getting for you that what you need to hear to release that resistance to being delusional is that it's okay for you to slow down. It's okay for you to no longer be acting like you don't have the money you desire. Ooh, very interesting. Because it's one thing to act like we have the wealth we desire. It's another thing to no longer act like we don't have the wealth we desire. And that's where you're kind of at that crossroads right now where that's what needs to go first in order for you to then act like you have that prosperous overflow, right? This is really a transformation that you need to undergo, right? The universe is saying, especially with our alchemist card here, in order to live the delusion of having the wealth you desire, in order to be delusional about your money manifestations and believe you already have them before they've objectively showed up in your 3D reality, you have to understand that you need to become someone different. You need to become a different version of yourself, because the version of you right now who is looking at your bank account going, well, I have X amount and one day I want to have this amount, but I only have this right now. That's an old version of you, right? That's the current version of you. That's the version that needs to go. That version cannot live the delusion. That version is based on its whole existence, that version of you, that identity of yours, that ego version of you that says what I have right now is the label of how wealthy I am. That version of you needs to transform. It needs to shift. It needs to shift into the version of you that looks at the world like I already have an overflow of abundance. I have an overflow of prosperity in my life. So know that it's okay for you to no longer act like the version of you, to no longer be the version of you who doesn't have the wealth you desire. It's safe for you to no longer hold on to those habits. So for example, if you are constantly hustling and burning yourself out and thinking one day I'll be able to relax or slow down when I have more money, the fact that you're not relaxing and slowing down is what's holding you back from having more money. Because if you've associated, and I talked about this in deck one, but it's a very different message, so this isn't saying to necessarily go watch it unless you felt called, but what I'm saying here, what I'm channeling for you is that if you have any sort of rule tied to when I have more money or X amount of wealth or whatever it is, then I'll have more free time, you cannot get there from there, as Abraham Hicks says, because you've made a rule in your mind, in your subconscious. There's a rule in there that says, when I have more money, I will have more free time. And basically the way I'll know I have more money is when I have more free time. But you can be making tons of money and have zero free time. There are people out there who are making so much money and have no extra time because they have a rule that's, I have to work hard to make money or I have to be constantly busy to make money. Have two conflicting stories like that. This is just an example. You could ask yourself, what are the things I believe will be evidence in my life of when I have more money? How will my life change? And what do I believe I have to do to get there? And you will probably find, if you journal on those two prompts after this reading, you will probably find two conflicting pieces of beliefs, of rules you have for yourself if you dig deep enough into them. And this is because you probably have, again, with that example, this doesn't have to be yours. It's just an example. But if you believe when I have more free time, it's because I'll be wealthy, right? When I have more money, I'll have more free time. I'll have more freedom in my life. But then you also go, in order to get to more money, I need to work really, really hard. I have to sacrifice all my free time. Do you see how those two are incongruent? Because if you build wealth on the back of burnout and constant hustle, how do you think you'll maintain that wealth? With more burnout and constant hustle. Build it right, the universe is saying. take a moment, take a deep breath, right? And I'm seeing very much a crossroads for you. This point of needing to transform. Take a moment. When I say moment, it's like in your life. Take a beat and kind of sit with, who do I think I'm going to become when I have the wealth I desire, and how can I actually become that now? And this doesn't mean that you don't work at all. It just means, how can I prioritize a little bit more rest, a little bit more feeling free, a little bit more feeling like I have free time? Because then by doing that, you'll command the universe, because you have this rule. Your subconscious has this rule, for example, of when I have more free time, I'll have more money. Create more free time now and the money will show up. That's what your subconscious will create. That's what you'll put out, because you'll feel wealthy, because that's the rule you've created in your head. That's not objectively how money works, but if that's the rule you have, that's what you need to do to create that, right? And so again, I talked about this in deck 1, but with we had a different take on it, right? A different message through there. So this is your message, right? Is like, what rules have you tied to money? How do you reverse engineer those now so that the money shows up? That's living the delusion, right? Like, live those things now. See yourself as wealthy. See yourself as having the free time that you desire now, even if it might be more when the money actually shows up. How can you create the feeling of it, the experience of it, so that you can see your life through that lens, right? So that you can almost trick your mind into believing that you have the wealth you desire, because look at all this free time I have. And I know when I have more free time, it means I have more money, right? Like, start to shift that now in your life. Start to become the version of you who prioritizes, for example, again, if you would be resting and relaxing more when you have more money, become the version of you who has that rest and relaxation now. And then watch how the money shows up, because that's the rule you've created for it in your head, right? So, some things to think about there. Some deep work for you to do is what I'm getting. The universe is saying, dig into those rules. Get clear on what rules you've, created for yourself around money, or how you believe money works, or how you believe it'll work in your life. See where the conflicting stories are, and then reverse engineer the one you want to be true, and bring the feeling or the experience of it into your life first, and then watch the money manifest. Don't wait for the money to manifest to have that experience or those feelings. Okay. When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. So the universe is saying here, what's going to help you actually tap into being delusional is gratitude. And I know that's so overplayed in the manifestation community. I understand. But really, it's overplayed because it's true when you do it right? When I just saw 1111 for you. So this is perfect confirmation. So again, building off of what that message was that just came through for you, of what you kind of need to release and who you need to transform into being, the version of you need to become in order to access this wealth you desire, that transformation you need to undergo. Building off of that, when you can be grateful for what you have and look for, again, if you think, I'll have more travel, I'll have more free time, I'll have more fun, I'll be happier, I'll be more relaxed, whatever it is, when I have the wealth I desire, when you can find the things that already inspire those feelings or that experiences in you now, that's going to help you tap into more of that delusion, right? When you're grateful for what you have now, oftentimes when we're pursuing more wealth, we start to tell the story of, I don't have enough and I'm not abundant, blah, blah, because we're comparing ourselves to where we want to be. But when you can look at all the abundance you have now in all forms and all the things in your life that make you feel or have the potential to let you feel the way you would feel when you have the wealth you desire, when you can have gratitude for those things and notice those things, they will amplify. And the more you can amplify those things, the more abundance can come your way. I'm getting with this card especially that you, deck 2, already have like these seeds. You have the seeds of abundance in your life. Ooh, that's very cool. I don't know if I've channeled that phrase much. You have the seeds of abundance in your life, deck 2. Like, and that's really cool to say. You have the seeds of abundance in your life, and what that means is there are all these little things in your life that if you were to focus on them and notice them more and be grateful for them and be present with them, they would allow you to tap into the feeling, the delusion of having the wealth you desire now before the money shows up. And then that allows the money to show up because you're attracting it at that level. You're vibrating at that frequency. You are acting differently and calling it in different ways. You're co-creating with the universe that way. So look in your life. This is another thing to journal on for you. Every day even. Saw 333 for you. What do I already have in my life that makes me feel or think like I believe I would when I have all that wealth I desire? What do I already have, and how can I focus on that more and really, like Abraham Hicks says, milk that feeling of it and live it and start to tell that story more and more to myself of I already have the wealth I desire, I already have it. And then watch how the money shows up to support that, because you're now a match for it, right? Each time I choose to tune into spirit guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. If you're feeling lost at all, like if you're listening, like especially as you do this stuff, especially as you turn to gratitude and you're trying to kind of find those things that help you feel like the wealth you desire is already here in your life, and you're feeling lost around that, the universe is saying, tune into your higher self, ask the universe, ask God, ask your guides, whatever it is for you, ask for guidance. Ask for guidance. The highest truth shows up for you, right? Each time I choose to tune into spirit, guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. The universe is saying, I saw 444 for you. This is so much, in 1133, so much alignment for you. Truly, deck 2. You already have, you already have everything you need. You even have the answers you need within you. But it's that willingness to become the version of you who listens to source, who listens and trusts in yourself, your inner guidance. Becoming that version of you. Again, when you think about the version of you who has all the wealth you desire, are you someone who trusts yourself and who trusts the universe, or are you someone who is untrusting? For most of you, when you really think about it, you having more wealth, we like to think of this like perfect version of ourselves, which, spoiler alert, you won't be perfect when you have all the wealth you desire. You will continue to grow, right? Money doesn't make your life perfect and easy. It can if you decide that that's how it's going to be for you. For the most part, we're never done growing, right? So it's a whole nother discussion. But we have this vision in our head, this story we tell ourselves of, when I have all the wealth I desire, I'll be more confident, I'll be more decisive, I'll be more sure of myself, I'll be more trusting in my inner guidance. So 555 for you, I'll always be trusting in my guides, what signs the universe gives me. It'll be easy to just flow with the universe, but right now I have to be, that's harder to do because the money's not coming in. It's like the universe is like, again, if you're going to be more trusting at that next level of abundance, be more trusting now. Start to, over time, build up that ability to listen to your own inner guidance or to the signs of the universe, whatever resonates with you. If you have trouble doing that, there are a lot of modalities for learning to trust yourself more. And I've seen some comments recently on some of my videos of like, how do I trust my inner guidance more? Which is a fantastic question. And this is something I work with people a lot inside of the Wealth Vibe. Almost all of our monthly challenges deal with increasing trust as well as other parts of what's required to manifest more wealth into your life. So you can always check that out. But I also recommend looking at, if you haven't really, human design. This is how I learned to trust my inner guidance, my intuition. For me, I'm a splenic projector. If you know what that means I have a splenic authority. I intuitively just know what's right or what's wrong for me, what's safe, what's correct, what's not, in any moment, right? In the moment. I have this very quick, intuitive inner guidance. And how I learned to trust my inner guidance and how to even listen to it and knew what it sounded or felt like in my body was through studying human design. And I became a human design reader for a very long time. That was what I did before I was doing more oracle decks and readings. And I have some videos. I will put a video above that's that introduction to human design. And I also have like some human design programs that will probably be going on sale in the next month. So jump on my email list if you want to be updated on all that. But I'll put a link above here for an intro to human design bit of content so that you can start to kind of explore that if it calls to you. It's just a great way, if you look up your authority in human design, that's your inner guidance. That's how you can learn to start to trust yourself. And I always teach it in my human design programs as listening to your inner guidance is really just a matter of like starting small, right? Listen to your intuition, your inner guidance, the universe's guidance, whatever you want to call it, on smaller matters, and then keep a log of how that goes, and then keep from there applying your inner guidance to bigger and bigger and bigger things until you're very comfortable with making huge money or career decisions based on your inner guidance. But it doesn't happen overnight, right? It doesn't happen overnight. So start now, right? The universe is saying, start trusting in yourself more. Start building up that trust and that ability to listen to and act on and trust your inner guidance, the universe. Start small and keep building it, but start now, because again, I'm willing to bet that most of you, the version of you who has more wealth you desire, you're You feel like you're more confident, you're more in flow with the universe, with yourself. You trust your gut more, maybe. Like, you probably wouldn't think, oh, I'd still be really insecure not listening to myself, right? Like, when you think about it that way. So it's time to come into alignment for that. That's going to help you live the delusion even more, because you're going to feel and have that inner guidance supporting you and bolstering you. It's really powerful. It's really cool to feel like you fully trust yourself. That's a very powerful place to be. Most people do not ever learn how to listen to themselves, trust themselves, and it's something that I teach quite heavily, again, in the Wealth by Membership. That's part of the equation of making money. You can't make money without, like, in the way you want, without trusting yourself. You have to be able to trust yourself, because the path to abundance for you is so different from the path for everyone else, because you're your own unique magical being, right? So speaking of trusting yourself, we have Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Whatever you're moving through right now with your finances, with your reality, with your career, you'll survive this, right? Like, this is the beautiful thing about trusting yourself too. On the theme of trust, the more you trust yourself in that inner guidance, it's like you know you can handle whatever comes your way. That's another component of trusting yourself. This is something I fail. I'm going to feel like channeling this for you right now. This is coming through. I fail all the time in my business. I have mini and mega failures all the time in my business. I have, on a small level, videos on this channel that don't do well, and then some that do amazing. I have, I have offers in my business that don't sell as well as others. I have, posts that get no traction. I have, launches that don't do as well as I hope they do. But then on the flip side, I have major successes as well in all of those areas. So the way that I've found is so important, not just for entrepreneurs, but for anyone around money and anything else you're trying to manifest, is you have to understand that. And I saw 111 for you. This is so aligned for you. You have to, like the universe is saying, really, in order to live the delusion, you have to have such trust in yourself. And that's really where the universe is asking you to focus, is building that trust in yourself. Yes, in your intuition, your inner guidance, and being able to follow that, because that's what's going to lead you to the wealth you desire, which when you know that, you understand that, it's easier to hold the delusion because you know you're on the right track. But also the other part of trusting yourself is knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. You can handle whatever comes your way. You can figure out whatever comes your way. You can figure it out. Creating more of that sense within yourself, that's something the universe is really asking you to do in order for you to find those solutions you're looking for, in order for you to find, have those beginnings, those new chapters in your life. But you'll survive this, whatever is happening right now. You'll survive it, you're saying, and you'll come out stronger, and you'll come out with new ideas and embark on new adventures in your life and on your wealth journey. Like, there's 2211 for you. So many mirror and angel numbers for you. You're just going to find that the more you start really focusing, the universe really with this reading for you, Deck 2, is like, trust yourself, period. Start trusting yourself. Start trusting your inner guidance. Start trusting that you get to be the version of you want to be now. Start leaning and trusting that you already have the seeds of abundance in your life. You already have the answers. The answers are available for you. Start trusting your intuition, your inner guidance. Start trusting that you can figure out whatever comes to you. Sit down and journal on, honestly, why don't I feel like it's safe to trust myself? See what comes up from that, Deck 2. That's where the real work is going to really start for you. And that's what's going to help you truly figure out what's making it maybe hard to be delusional, or what will make it easier for you to be delusional, right? We also have You're Not For Everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. So clearly, there's, I get the sense here that, wow, what's coming through is that part of why you don't want to trust yourself is because you've been told you're wrong in the past. You've been told that you're weird or wrong or incorrect. And honestly, maybe you are for some people, but for you, you're always right for you. Deck 2, you're always right for you. You don't need to be for everyone. No one else's opinion matters. Deck 2, no one else's, zero other people's opinion of you matters when it comes to how you see yourself and how you view your life. No one else gets to tell you that you're right or wrong. You might be wrong for them, but you're right for you. When you're truly, let me clarify, when you are truly being your authentic self, when you're being that version of you, when you're living the delusion, when you're being the version of you who already has the wealth you desire even before it shows up, they might say you're wrong. They might say you're crazy. They might say you're weird for thinking and feeling that way. It doesn't matter what they think. that's wrong for them, it's right for you. We have this idea that wrong and right are objective things, but in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, they're very subjective. What can be wrong for someone is right for another person. Stop letting other people's opinions or perceptions or projections determine how you see or view the world or what's possible for you or view yourself even. Because that'll pull you out of that delusion the fastest, and then you can't create that delusion. 444 for you. Amazing alignment. Embrace your weirdness. That's the path forward. Know that your path forward is so unique, Deck 2. I see you as someone who's very unique, very innovative, very almost eclectic for some of you. You are, I'd be surprised if a lot of you watching this are Aquarius or have that in your big 3, right? Like, you are so unique. You are so different, and that is a blessing, but that also means that your path is going to be very different and unique on the way to the wealth you desire. So just know that the path you're going to walk is not for everyone, and that's okay. It's for you. You don't need anyone's validation to be you, to trust yourself. You get to give that to yourself. We have moon and detriment. Cut your losses. This sounds harsh. Cut out the people out of your life who tell you that being you is not okay, that listening to yourself is not okay. Cut them out, or at least don't share with them that, that's what you're doing, that you're listening to your inner guidance. They'll say, oh, you should look at the logic. You should make a pros and cons list. That's not rational. That's not pragmatic. Those people don't get to have that say in your life anymore, is what the universe is saying. Those people don't get it. They can cut them out and completely if that feels right, or just cut out those discussions with them. But cut those people they're robbing you. You're losing who you are becoming, who you're meant to be. They're pulling you out from it. You're allowing them, you're allowing them to pull you out of it. So stop those conversations, stop those relationships altogether if need be, if that feels right. Or just stop communicating with those people in those ways. Keep it to yourself in a way. I feel like that was a message that came through in a recent reading here on the channel. So if you found that deck, this is another confirmation of it. But don't tell people what you're doing. You don't have to tell people you're living the delusion. Just live it. Telling people you're living the delusion is looking in some way for validation that it's okay to live the delusion. Live the way you want it. See the world the way you want to see it. See your life the way you want to see it. See yourself the way you want to see yourself. Now, before the money shows up, see yourself how you want to see yourself. How you want others to see you even. See yourself that way first. You don't have to tell anyone you're doing it. It's an inner game. But don't let anyone tell you that you are not correct in the way you want to live your life, the way you want to see the world. There's no correct way. There's your way. All right, deck 2. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this reading, deck 2. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below letting me know what you took from it and how it resonated. I always really appreciate getting to see your comments and hear how these readings connect with you. It means the world to me. You are, of course, if you're not already, welcome to subscribe to my channel for future card readings for abundance. And if you want to come join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership so you can get access to all the resources, support, and community you need to fully embody the wealth you desire, live that delusion, and more easily manifest the wealth you want into your life, then I would love to get to connect with you there inside of the Wealth Vibe. The link for the membership is in the description and pinned comment below. And if you want to pre-order or just order now at this point your copy of the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck so you can get divine guidance on demand for all things money and abundance, the link for that is also in the description and pinned comment below. After you pre-order, be sure to claim your copy of the exclusive 2-hour wealth activation reading that I'm giving away for free as a thank you to everyone who pre-orders or orders before the end of this month, May 2024. So that link to claim that is also below. So with all that being said, I'm wishing you massive prosperity, abundance, and blissful delusion, my deck 2s, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye. Hello, deck number 3. This is your reading to uncover what guidance the universe has to help you be able to be more delusional around money. And I'm going to give you a little quick spiel here just for a minute or two on what I mean when I say delusional, because I want to make sure we're on the same page. There's a lot of misunderstanding around this, and I just want to make sure that this reading lands as powerfully as possible for you. So, when I say delusional, I'm speaking from that law of assumption perspective, that ability to live in the end, meaning your ability to mentally, emotionally, spiritually feel wildly abundant, to feel and believe fully that the money you desire is already yours, despite whatever your bank balance says or whatever anyone tells you or what your reality seems to be showing you right now. This is all about how to live in that desired version of your reality right now, because when you can cut out the need for the physical money to show up in order to feel or think like you have more money, then you vibrate at a different point of attraction around money and take different actions than you normally would, which can all lead to new levels of abundance for yourself. I have personally manifested hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last couple of years purely by being delusional about money or my financial reality. But of course, as we dive into this reading, remember that nothing I'm channeling here is suggesting to be irresponsible with your finances or needlessly spending around money. Living the delusion doesn't necessarily mean spending money you don't have. It means knowing the money you want is already yours, being confident that it's coming or is already here, and fully feeling like it and seeing the world through that perspective. So I will be doing this reading to identify what you need to hear to help you be able to live that delusion of having all the wealth you desire from that place. So we'll kind of start shuffling here, but if you want more support in unlocking your full potential for manifesting money and success, you are absolutely welcome to come join me inside of the Wealth by membership for all of the resources, supports, habits, and community you need to do so. The link for the Wealth by membership is in the description and pinned comment below. I actually created that membership as a space, kind of like as an online oasis or portal where you can practice living the delusion. It's really such a positive and expansive space. I've had a lot of people in there tell me it's replaced all their mindless scrolling on social media as they come into the membership instead. And that's, like a much healthier kind of money manifestation diet to feed yourself, right? But it's filled with tons of resources to help you really live that delusion. So come join in if you feel called to. I'm going to pull. When I surrender my will to the care of spirit and the universe, I attune my energy with an ever-present stream of well-being. I'm going to pull a couple more cards for you, but I pull this card, so whenever I use this deck, I feel like this card always comes up on this channel. A lot of you need to surrender more. Instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well when I'm aligned in the moment. Are you kidding me? When I truly surrender my desires to the universe, a mighty force of faith can set in. All right, my loves. So these first cards are telling me, kind of where you need to release that resistance in order to be delusional. And for you, the message is very clear, loud and clear. Surrender. Stop worrying. It's that simple. Surrender. Stop worrying. Of course, when I say it's that simple, especially when it comes to money, that's like one of the hardest things to do, is to surrender to the universe, to surrender to whatever outcome happens, to release attachment to outcomes, to not worry about what's going to happen in the future, and be in the present moment, right? Especially when you objectively, like in the moment, in your 3D reality, don't have the money you want or even maybe need. It's really hard to just go, okay, well, I'm just going to release the control around that. I'm going to release. I saw 111 for you. Some nice confirmation that this is what you need to hear. It's really hard to release that worry and to release the stress and to release the trying to figure out how to make it happen and all that sort of stuff. But the universe is saying the way that the money is going to come in once you can actually be delusional is it's going to be quite miraculous for you, Deck 3 specifically. It's going to be quite magical. And that's why you can't predict it. And the more you keep trying to figure out how to get to the wealth you desire, how to manifest it, how to make it happen, the more you are keeping it from yourself, because the universe is like, I have something delicious lined up for you. That's what my collective is showing. I'm like, they're kind of like laughing with how amazing it is. They are, wow, my collective is really showing me just like this delicious, amazing manifestation. It's like, it's lined up for you. It's waiting. But Deck 3, you can't even imagine how it's going to happen. You cannot even imagine how it's going to happen. But the more you keep worrying about it, worrying is just trying to, you're anxious about the future. You're like, how is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to allow the universe to bring me what it needs to bring me, and I can handle whatever comes my way, which is something we covered in our deck 2 readings. So if that calls to you, you can go check it out. You don't have to, but that might be helpful for you if you feel like you don't trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way when you surrender. Definitely go check that reading out, because I gave some very practical guidance there on how to kind of tune into that and tune into how to trust your inner guidance as well, which I know a lot of you have struggled with. So coming back to this though, it's so important for you to not be trying to worry about the future, to be very present and to allow the universe to bring this amazing manifestation that's lined up for you to you. Because it's amazing. I'm seeing this huge, beautiful, sparkly manifestation. It's like wrapped in a bow for you. It is beautiful, deck 2, and it's big. But it's something you can't predict from this point in time, from your current knowledge. I saw 333 for you, and 1155. A lot of confirmation flying out here. You can't, right now, with who you are and what you've experienced thus far in your life, especially around money or wealth, you cannot predict. You could not foresee how this is going to happen, for how the wealth you want is going to come to you. You can't. Your mind is only really good at projecting into the future based off of past experiences. So in order to receive a level of wealth you desire that is so different from where you are now and where you have ever been, you have to truly let go of trying to figure out how to get there and instead be delusional. You have to allow yourself to just believe you already have it. We'll get more into how of that in a little bit, but the first thing you're going to need to do is surrender. And when we say surrender, this is something I'm so familiar with. My word of the year, my whole intense focus of the year of 2023 was surrendering. It was surrender was my word of the year. And I went through this massive period of surrender, and so much came out of it, like the publication of my deck by this major, publishing house and this major distributor, and just huge pivots in my business, the start of this YouTube channel, and when I say start, these readings and things like that, there's just so much came from surrendering, but I could not have predicted where I am right now and all the success I've experienced in the last even just 6 months and I'm experiencing right now. I could not have predicted this from where I was 6 to 12 months ago. I could not have predicted it. I surrendered really hard. So surrendering means being present, right? Aligned in the moment and trusting the universe to bring you what you need. And even more so, trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way. And that all you have to do, this is it. This is like the formula for you, deck 2. All you have to do is be present moment to moment to moment. Continue to stay present each moment. Whenever you find yourself not being present, bring your focus back to the present moment. When you find yourself thinking about the future or the past or worrying about money or how it's going to happen, bring yourself back to what's happening right now. And then tune into what feels right to me, what feels aligned to me in this moment. What feels good to me in this moment? What feels correct to me in this moment? What feels healthy to me in this moment? What do I truly want to do? What's exciting to me in this moment? Tuning into that over and over and over again. And then trusting that that's going to lead you where you want and that the universe will bring you what you need. And you'll know when you need to take action and when you don't. And you'll know when you need to shift gears a little bit, when you're a little off track. Trust that trust that you've got it. And the more you do that, the easier it's going to be to live the delusion, right? But this is what has to go, is that this insistence on trying to control the future, trying to know the how. And I know that's the most maddening thing. But for so many of us, knowing the how, it just limits the universe. And it limits our potential. And we put ourselves in a box that way. And the universe is saying, you got to get out of that box. You got to allow your potential to be unbridled if you want unbridled potential for wealth. So stop trying to predict how things are going to happen. Just keep following what feels right to you, what feels good to you, because from there you're going to take some really beautiful actions and you're going to be surrendered. And from there, once you've learned how to really surrender, which takes some time, be patient with yourself, right? But as you learn to surrender more and more and not worry about the how, but instead worry about your alignment more, then living the delusion gets a lot easier, which we're going to get some more guidance on for you now. That's what kind of needs to be released. That's the resistance to the delusion, of course. But how you're going to live the delusion. Again, loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. The universe is saying living the delusion requires for you, deck 3, a lot more flexibility, a lot more fluidity. Trust the timing. Trust again. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Such a clear message. Living the delusion. I actually get that this is going to be quite easy for you to live the delusion, and maybe you've already been somewhat living it and being able to feel wealthy before the money shows up, be able to, see the world as though you are, through the eyes of the version of you who already has the wealth you desire, fully embodying that wealth, being able to know you're abundant and wildly prosperous, even if your bank account is showing that you have $2, right? Like you already are actually quite good at being delusional. It's just the thing that's holding you back is the lack of trust, the tendency to try to control have that grip, right, on how things are going to play out, to need to know how. You don't need to know how. If you knew how, it would be so boring. If you knew how, where would the adventure be in life? If you knew how it was all going to happen, would you even want it? Like, yeah, maybe you'd want some of it. But part of it, we kind of lie to ourselves. We often think, oh, I want to know exactly how it's going to happen because then I can feel safe in it. But if you knew exactly how it was going to happen, there would be no possibility for anything else or anything more. We live in this limitless universe that's full of possibility and potential. But if you want the universe to funnel itself down into only one potential, one possibility, one level of wealth for you, then it's going to be a lot harder to manifest that because you're forcing the universe to have to rearrange so many things to cater to this one path you've carved for it. And also it's going to be really boring because the way your mind right now, this is not a slight at you. This is just as humans in general, the way that our minds work is like, again, what you can imagine happening for yourself in terms of how the money you desire is going to manifest is so boring because it's based off of the way you have seen money manifest for yourself and others in the past. What if there is an even more amazing and unique way and more magical way that money is going to manifest for you, deck 3, which by the way it is? What if there's a more amazing way that you can't even imagine, but you are cutting yourself off from it by trying to just like figure out how it all is happening and trying to rush it? What if instead you just live the way you want to live from that internal place now? Live the illusion, saw yourself as wealthy now, and surrender to feeling good and feeling wealthy in each moment, whatever that means to you, right now, moment to moment to moment, and aligning with that in every moment. What if you just did that every moment? How do you think your life would change? Probably in some pretty miraculous ways, right? So that's kind of the guidance here with these cards is truly for you. Deck 2 is aligning each moment with the wealth you desire in each moment on that internal state. Meaning, how would you feel when you're wealthy? What are the top 3 emotions you'd feel when you're wealthy? What would the top 3 ways you'd be feeling most of the time in general when you have the wealth you desire? How can you start feeling that way, those 3 ways now, or at least one of those ways most of the time now? That's embodiment. That's living the delusion. True manifestation, deck 3. This is what's coming through for you. True manifestation is not the physical manifestation. It is the internal manifestation. That's all you want anyways. That's all we actually really want is the internal manifestation of the things we desire. Because you could get all the money you desire, but if it happened in this really negative way or this way that made you feel not great, would you actually even really want the money? Probably not. It's not the way you want it to happen, right? So what you want is you want the money that's going to allow you to feel really good. You want the money to happen in a way or in an amount that feels really good to you. So cut to the good feeling first. Cut to the feelings of freedom, the feelings of peace, the feelings of excitement, the feelings of joy, the feeling of safety, right? Like cut to those feelings first and then the money follows. Money can flow any which way to you. But the universe is saying if you're worrying about the future, it doesn't want to give you more money to then worry more about. We think the money will solve the worrying. It won't. It'll just amplify it. Money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you are and who you decide to become on the way to it. So the universe is saying the delusion is going to be so much easier for you to live. It's going to be so much easier to convince yourself that you are wealthy and therefore manifest the wealth you desire when you stop trying to micromanage the universe. When you stop trying to, like, in a way, it's almost like the universe is like, you think you know best, but you don't know best. You just know what you know. You know what you know right now. Let me show you more. Let me show you more. Really beautiful. All right. Let's pull some more from another deck for you. What else does deck 3 need to hear to be able to live that delusion? Process your feelings. When you feel that worry, get to the core of it. Go down deep into it, right? If you feel that worry about the future, about money specifically, drill down deep into what's the true worry? Are you really worried about not making X amount this month in your business? Are you really worried about losing that job? Or are you actually worried about losing the job and not being able to pay rent? And then if you're not able to pay rent, you end up on the street and you can't feed your family. And then you starve and you die, right? Like, that's extreme, but like, what's the actual worry? Drill really deep down into it. And then either create some sort of contingency plans if you feel the need to, or say, okay, I acknowledge that there's fear here, but that's an extreme that's really not likely to happen, because, and then come up with all the reasons it's not likely to happen. Kind of soothe yourself a little bit, process, feel the feelings, and then process them, move through them, transmute them, right? That's going to allow you to then be able to live the delusion more. And you might need to do this multiple times a day, right? You might need to do it multiple times a day, but it's something that there's just these worry, these anxiety blockages around money for you that are ready to be shifted. 1414 for you. There's so much that's ready to just be moved, right? We have the moon's moment, synchronicity. We also had trust the timing here, right? Very interesting. And a lot of surrender. There's so much that's lined up for you. Honestly, I'm getting the guidance to share with you to kind of assume a mantra or start to lean into the belief, if it feels good to you, deck 3, of everything is lining up for me. Everything is lined up for me. Everything is flowing in perfect synchronicity to me. If you started to assume that identity and started looking for evidence of that, that sort of stuff is going to show up more and more for you. So even if you feel like you can't live the delusion of having the wealth you desire, you can't feel like you have the money you want. If you started instead assuming the identity of someone who is always in the right place at the right time, who the universe is always conspiring to bring abundance or wealth to, who everything is working out for perfectly, who's in divine flow with the universe, if you started aligning with that and looking for evidence of that, the universe is saying then more money can come to you that way. So it's kind of a way to kind of sidestep the really tangled conditioning that a lot of us have around money and surrendering around it. Instead, if you can surrender to the timing of the universe in all areas of life and just see in living the delusion of someone who has perfect timing, who has perfect synchronicity, who's in flow and alignment with the universe, that will carry over into your money too. So kind of like a little shortcut for you. That's what I'm getting for you there, which is really cool. Try that identity on. Try looking for evidence every night. This is a practical exercise for you. Every night, sit down and go, what things worked out in the perfect timing for me today? What things worked out in the perfect synchronicities for me? What were the little synchronicities I saw? When was I in exactly the right place at the right time today? Was it when I found that dollar bill on the ground? Was it when I was in line and that person ahead of me at the coffee shop paid for my coffee just randomly? Like, I was in the right place at the right time. Look for the synchronicities every day, and you will start to see more and more of them, and then you will attract more and more of them into your life, and you'll become someone who money just comes to, right? It just comes to in its divine timing, and then that's a way that you can unlock everything the universe has available for you. So that's pretty cool. We have the Rogue. There are, again, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Wherever you feel like you're worried right now in life, wherever you feel like time's running out, I'm not in the right place at the right time, I can't just trust, I got to figure out how to make the money happen. All of that is, it's happening for you, clearly, to learn how to step into this other version of yourself, to live more delusional. But also it's all actually, you're going to look back on it in a couple months or a year or so. I'm getting 2 years at the max. You're going to look back on this moment right now and all the things you thought were going wrong. And you're going to be like, oh my God, it was all part of the path to where I am now, which is so much more abundant. Like, you're going to be able to look back on that. And that's really cool. So it's like with the Rogue card, it's a lot of blessings in disguise, right? Right now, it might feel like you're very far off the path of where you want to be. But again, I said it earlier in this reading, I get that sense that you're actually quite good at living the delusion. It's just letting go of the how. That's the key for you, the how and the when and the timing. And it's like, that's not your job. That's the universe's job. If you can let go of that, you're going to start to see the blessings coming through faster and faster. They're ready. They're waiting for you. I keep saying that this whole reading, deck 3. Those blessings are waiting for the financial blessings, the money, all of it. It's ready. It's lined up in this really magnificent, amazing way. But you have to let go. And what I say about, like, you don't want to know how. Otherwise, where's the adventure in life? We got the adventurer card. Embody, like, enjoy the adventure of not knowing how it's going to work out. We don't understand as much about the universe as we kind of think we do. Right? Like, of course, we've made great scientific leaps in understanding how the universe, we still don't know, right? Like, objectively, people have their ideologies, their faiths. We don't know why the universe is, why we are. Again, we have our different beliefs around it, but there's no one objective truth that we've discovered as of yet. This whole life, this is getting really existential, but this whole life is a cosmic mystery. Your whole life is a cosmic mystery. Why are you here? How did you get here? How did you come into existence? Why does life exist? Why does life on Earth exist in all forms? We don't know for sure. If that triggers you, this maybe isn't for you. We don't know. But that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it miraculous. It's a miracle because we can't explain it. If we could explain all of it, we might not see it as much of a gift anymore. It's not to say that we shouldn't seek understanding. I love looking at the science of things, into the observable and quantifiable parts of things. I love that sort of stuff, and I can see the miracles in it, but that's only because I can see the greater miracle and mystery of all of life. So all of that, nebulous tangent is to say, enjoy and try to start embracing more the adventure of not knowing. And just instead, the universe is saying, you don't need to know how the money's going to happen. You need to know that you already have it, that it's available to you. Because again, in this reading, I keep saying there's something amazing, miraculous coming to you. You have to open yourself up to those miracles. You have to, and the way you're going to do it is by saying, I don't know what's coming exactly. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know I'm going to enjoy every bit of the not knowing. And I know it's coming. I know something amazing is coming. I just don't know what. I don't know when. I don't know how. But I know it's coming. I know it's already mine. Yeah. Lean into the not knowing, the adventure of life. Otherwise, life gets really boring, guys. We have the Catalyst card. Again, remember I said, like, with the Rogue card that so much of what's happening right now is happening for you in a way, and it's all part of the path. I'm also getting that for you, this is this act of surrendering, especially, of really mastering the ability to surrender of the things that don't serve you, like the worrying and the anxiety and the control and the how, but also surrendering to what feels right to you in each moment, aligning each moment right in the present and what feels right to you. The more you do that stuff, you're going to go through this massive awakening. I would even see for some of you, there's going to be spiritual gifts awakening for you that you can leverage to call in more money. For a lot of you, it'll be more of just this spiritual experience that, again, you'll come out the other side of it. 2 years tops. For some of you, it'll be just a few months from now, but you'll come out the other side of it, and you'll be so different, and you'll realize how this whole thing, everything you're moving through right now, this not knowing, was helping you become more of who your soul really came here to be, and helping you awaken into the wealth you desire. So start to focus on that. Start to focus on, where am I being called to awaken? Where am I being shown my edges? How is this happening for me? It's a very widely used but very powerful question to use in the situation that you're in right now. And that's going to allow you to surrender so much more when you can truly tap into like, everything's happening for me. It's happening for my expansion, my evolution, my awakenings. It's happening for me, right? Again, I know this is a reading about how to be delusional, but I'm harping so much on the surrender and the focus for you, because you're already doing a good job of the delusion in a way. Deck 3, but it's that surrender piece, that needing to know the control and the how and the when and control it and micromanage the universe. That's what has to go. When you do that, things start to shift, and those blessings are going to come right through, right? That abundance you desire starts to just fall in these miraculous ways that are all lined up for you. There's so much. I cannot stress enough. Deck 3, how much abundance truly is lined up for you. It's mind-blowing. It's beautiful. But you have to trust that it's there, and you have to just start believing it's there. You have to, and when I say just start believing, I mean focus every moment on how do I feel like I have the wealth I desire, or how do I believe and find evidence of I'm someone who everything's always working out for in the perfect timing. The more you do that, the more everything starts to come through, and it's easy to live the delusion when you believe that you're living in a reality where everything's happening for you, right? So that's the belief you can kind of cling to. Everything's happening for me. Everything happens in the perfect timing for me. I have perfect timing. I have perfect synchronicity and flow with the universe. Having those beliefs, deck 3, is like your key to surrendering the how, the when, and trusting and flowing and allowing it all to come through in the most magnificent, miraculous, beautiful way. All right, deck 3, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below letting me know what you took from it and how it resonated. I always appreciate getting to see your comments and hearing how these readings connect with you. It means the world to me, so thank you for commenting. You are welcome, if you're not already, to subscribe to my channel for future card readings for abundance. And of course, if you want to come join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership so you can get access to all of the resources, support, and community you need to fully embody the wealth you desire, live that delusion, and more easily manifest the wealth you want into your life, then I would love to get to connect with you there inside the Wealth Vibe membership. The link for that is in the description and pinned comment below. If you want to order your copy of the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck so you can get divine guidance on demand for all things money and abundance, the link for that is also in the description and pinned comment below. After you order, be sure to claim your copy of the exclusive 2-hour wealth activation reading that I'm giving away for free as a thank you to everyone who orders before the end of May 2024. The link to claim that exclusive reading is also below. So with all of that being said, I'm wishing you massive prosperity and abundance and surrendered delusion, my loves. And I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye. Hello, deck number 4. This is your reading to uncover what guidance the universe has to help you be able to be more delusional around money. And I'm going to give you a quick 1 or 2 kind of just minute kind of spiel here around what I mean when I say delusional, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page so this reading can really land with you. So when I say delusional, I'm speaking from that law of assumption perspective, that ability to live in the end, meaning your ability to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually feel wildly abundant, to feel and believe fully 100% that the money you desire is already yours, despite whatever your bank balance says or anyone tells you or your reality seems to be showing you right now. This is all about how to live in that desired version of your reality right now, because when you can cut out that need for the physical money to show up in order for you to feel or think like you have all that money you desire, when you can cut that need out, you're going to start vibrating at a different point of attraction around money and take different actions than you normally would, which can all lead to new levels of abundance for yourself. I've personally manifested hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last couple of years purely by being delusional about money and my financial reality. But of course, as we dive into this reading, remember that nothing I'm channeling here is suggesting that you be irresponsible with your finances or needlessly spending around money. Living the delusion doesn't mean, necessarily spending money you don't have or quitting your job on the spot. It means knowing the money you want is already yours, being confident that it's coming or is already here, and fully feeling like it and seeing the world through that perspective, right? It's very much an inner game. So I will be doing this reading to identify what you need to hear to help you be able to live that delusion of having all the wealth you desire. And if you want more support in unlocking your full potential for manifesting money and success, you are absolutely welcome to come join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership for all of the resources, support, habits, and community you need to do so. That link is in the description and pinned comment below. I honestly created the Wealth Vibe membership as a space, kind of like an online oasis or portal where you can practice living the delusion. It is truly such a positive and expansive space. I've had so many members tell me that they've replaced a lot of their mindless scrolling on social media, which felt very toxic to them, with scrolling and being present in the group. And that's, to me, just like the highest compliment and the most beautiful thing, right? So it's just filled with tons of resources to help you live that delusion, manifest more wealth. So come join in if you feel called. But we have your cards here. I want to see with these cards we're looking at, what is blocking your ability to live that delusion? What do you need to hear to drop any resistance to being delusional, right? We have your life as a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. We have double mission, light workers, starseed, serve the world by being you. And we have activator, power, places, ley lines, trust where you are led. There's a lot of themes of trust in these cards today in all of the readings. My loves, why do you not feel like you actually, like it's safe to be all of you and it's safe to do what you want to do, and that in order to make money, right? Why do you not feel like you can do what you want to do yet? Is it because you're waiting on the money? You're waiting on the money to feel like you have the permission or the ability or the resources to do what you want to do? I'm not trying to undermine here, right? Like the necessity of money in our lives and in our culture and our society. I'm also not trying to say that, like, for example, if you're like, I want to travel the world full time and you don't have enough money to do that, that's, that's a very real barrier in a way, right? But the universe is saying that whatever it is that you want to do, truly, that you believe you would be doing when you have the wealth you desire, you can start doing some of it now. And if you go, no, I can't, the universe is saying, this is what I'm channeling, you can't do it in the way you think it needs to happen. But if you've forgotten, deck 4, that the universe is wildly abundant and infinite in its potential. So for example, taking that same example, this won't be able to, for some of you, if you're like, I want to travel the world, but I don't have enough money to do it. So I have to wait till I have more money in order to travel the world. And then when I'm traveling the world, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be doing what I truly want and feeling fully expressed and living the life I desire. The universe is saying, is that really true? Do you truly need money to travel the world? Or do you maybe need connections with people who can give you discounted flights or free flights? Or maybe you do things, I said this in a private reading to somebody, and they're like, whoa, I'm going to look into that. Looking into things like, there's tons of organizations. I know of woofing. I won't personally endorse it because I've never done it. I know people who've done it. WOOF. You can look that up. It's like, I believe, my understanding of it is like, and this is just an example, right, where you can go somewhere and have your room and board paid for because you're doing, you're working on someone's farm, but that allows you to travel to different parts of the world. There's things like that, right, that the universe is saying you've allowed yourself to become boxed in with using money as some sort of excuse in some way for not being able to do what you want to do. And the universe is kind of calling you out here with love and saying, you don't have to wait on anything to start doing what you want to do. Start taking steps. Yeah, maybe it won't look the way you want it to look at first or you think it should look, but it might look even better when you start pursuing it, right? When you start taking those little steps. So getting creative, thinking outside the box, right? We have this creative accountability. Where are you not taking accountability for your creativity? Do you understand how creative you have to be to lock yourself into a box? You are highly creative, deck 4. Creative. Being all of you, like who you are is this amazing creative being. In some ways, it might be literal like creativity with like art and, like that kind of creative expression that we associate with being creative. But just in general, you are a co-creator of your reality. You are the creator of your life. You are very creative in a lot of ways that you maybe aren't giving yourself credit for. You've had to use a lot of willpower and creativity to lock yourself into whatever box you're in right now, whatever rules you've placed on money, right? And when we talk about living the delusion, the universe is saying in order for you to more fully, to be able to live the delusion, you have to let go, release the rules that say, well, I can't, it's hard, I can't be delusional because if I had all the money I wanted, my life would look so different. It's like, yeah, sure, but how can you start building that life now before the money shows up? It's almost like I'm getting like Field of Dreams, right? Like build it and they will come. It's like start taking the steps, start looking out, thinking outside the box, thinking creatively, using your creative mind to think about how you can be more of all of you to do what you truly want to do. And then watch how you'll be led in amazing places. Like we have like power places, ley lines, trust like a lot of geographical moving, right? And power. Trust where you'll be guided to, right? Trust that doesn't have to look the way you think it should look or the way you've imagined it looking. Be flexible in it. Creative accountability, right? Like take accountability for what you've created in your mind as rules or limitations, right? And instead start to create more rules that expand you, that open you up to seeing new avenues to getting to what you want, where you want. And when you do that, when you start, when we talk about living the delusion, we often think it's like, oh, I just have to feel the way I would feel when I'm wealthy. And that's true. And that's what some of the guidance was in the other piles. But for you, deck 4, this is about action for you. And again, like I said at the beginning of this reading, this is not about taking irresponsible or needless action with your money. This is about starting to find other routes to the life you want that doesn't require all the money you've kind of told yourself you need, and start actually taking action. In this world we live in the online world, there are endless opportunities at your fingertips. There's endless information and ideas at your fingertips. So start researching, start taking action, get clear on what do you want to be doing? Like what's your dream vocation, your dream life? How does that differ from your current life? How can you start closing that gap? You don't have to close it entirely, but how can you start taking baby steps right now, each day, to actually start living that life without waiting for the money to come in? Honestly, this feels very much like a call out, and it's said with so much love, but the universe is really shoving this message through for you is the more that you keep saying, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I don't have enough money to do it, and when I have more money, then I'll get to do it, and then I'll be happy. That's an excuse to not start actually doing what you want now. This is your one life, deck 4. This is your one life. Do not waste another moment boxing yourself in and using your powers to create a life you don't want for yourself and to justify staying there. And it's not to say that you have a terrible life. I think a lot of you are actually pretty comfortable, which is honestly even more dangerous because then you don't have that much motivation to really overcome the excuses of, well, I don't have enough money, so I can't do that yet. It's like, do it now to whatever degree you can that feels right to you. Do it to the degree that feels right to you right now that you can. And then watch as that begets more ability to do it more and more and more in the capacity you want. You are meant to be all of you and get paid for being all of you. Like to get to be paid for and supported, whether by others or the universe, for living the life you want to live. Like the money gets to follow that more for you. But the path is going to be, you have to allow different paths to come forward. You have to allow yourself to be led in ways that you maybe didn't, anticipate being led in. Right? Yeah. But there's your life is a canvas. I just see you having such a beautiful impact and being compensated for the beautiful impact you have on the world, and being compensated for being yourself. When you truly step into that and you don't let money be an excuse for not being able to be all who you want to be. Living the delusion means being who you want to be and living the life you want to live to the best of your abilities right now. And then the money shows up to support that, right? So you have to release those excuses of money. Stop using money as an excuse and instead start using it as a motivator to start getting to, building the life you want now. And you also have to release that, the box you put yourself in, right? Again, with those excuses, and start to not worry so much about the path, which is somewhat, we did a lot of this in deck 3. If that resonated with you and called to you, you could go check that out, but it's a very different message. It's more of an inner game message. This is much more of it's an inner game message, but it's also very much an action-oriented message for you. Deck 4. That's, There's so much, I see so much potent power and potential for you, but you have to be willing to dig into the shadow work, the excuses, the limitations, right? That's what is ready to be cleared, so that you can start living your best life now. When you do that, we got moon dance celebration. There's just so much. There'll be so much you're celebrating. You'll already find so much in your life to already celebrate, and you'll see how free you truly are when you stop letting the money dictate your experience of life, and instead start allowing your experience of life to dictate how money flows to you and to command wealth to flow to you. So know that, like, again, living the delusion, finding the ways to start actually moving toward what you want, even if it's an unconventional or ways you hadn't imagined before, but thinking outside the box, busting through all of the limiting beliefs that tell you can't make money that way, you can't do this without money, blah, blah, blah. Busting through it, like, that is going to make it so easy to, like, you won't even be living the delusion, you'll just be living the life you want, and then the money will come in to support it. And of course, maybe the money is part of the life you want, but is it really? Right? Like, yeah, maybe you imagine yourself having more money, but is it really the money, or is it what the money allows you to do? Focus on doing what you think money is going to allow you to do to the best of your ability in little ways now, and watch how then the money shows up, right? And then there's all this, so much to celebrate. Keep getting the, it's a favorite song of mine, but whenever I see Moon Dance, I love that it's celebration on this card. But even with these saxophones, it's like, it's the King Harvest song, Dancing in the Moonlight, right? If that has relevance for you, this is a song that's coming through so strong for me, and now I'm going to go listen to that song after this reading. But there's so much to celebrate in your life, and so much freedom that you have that you maybe don't even realize you have, and you can already be living the delusion, living the dream life, living as if right now, before the money shows up, more than you think you can. Right? So it's like, start looking for that. And it's like, then living the delusion gets to be easy, because it won't even feel like a delusion. It'll feel like, yeah, because this is already my life, because I'm creating it consciously. I'm taking actions that allow me to, again, for instance, travel more, or work from home more, or whatever. It's like, you're going to start to see how you can have what you want so easily when you let go of the excuse of, I have to wait on the money. And then the money comes in to support it, because you're living the life you want. And if you imagine that money is part of the life you want, then the money will come in. Right? This whole, living delusionally thing is very circular thinking in a lot of ways. But it's so important, right? Like, it's you have to kind of understand that it's this kind of cycle you have to escape. And the way out is with what you can control, and not with waiting on the external circumstances to reflect back to you what you think you need to see, right? We have our Soul Wealth card here and the Key Holder card from the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck. So what I'm getting for you is that you have, and this theme of trust has been throughout so much, all these decks, but I think that's part of, it makes sense, because when we're talking about living the illusion, that requires so much trust of us, right? It requires so much trust on our parts. Trust in the universe, but also for you, trust that what you feel called to do, who you want, who you feel called to be in this lifetime, being all of you, right? Your inner guidance, all that is very, you have all those answers within you, right? You, like, all the way you feel called to be, that's correct for you. What you feel like you really want to do to make money, that's correct for you. These aren't fantasies, these are your blueprint, right? Start trusting the things you want to do, start trusting the inner guidance. If you have trouble trusting your intuition, I talked about this on deck 2, it's worth a re-listen, if that calls to you, but that's something I went in deep there, and it's something I talk about quite a bit in my Wealth by membership. I also talk about this a lot with my human design programs, but there's such a power and a freedom and a different kind of wealth in learning to trust yourself, and truly understanding that, like, everything that is, when we look at the Soul Wealth card, everything that is placed on your heart is not a coincidence. Anything you desire, truly desire on a deep soul level to have, deck 4, it's not a mistake. It's not a coincidence. It's not a fantasy. It's your soul speaking to you and saying, this is the path forward. Can you trust it? Because the more you can trust that, the easier it gets to be to live in that state of being like, I am so wealthy before the money shows up, to be delusional around money, to live the delusion, to create your dream life from the inside out before the money even shows up, outside the bounds and confines of money. And then the money swoops in to support that. When I am connected to spirit, I feel a sense of certainty, magnitude, and ease that I've never known before. And normally I say, when I see spirit, I think of the universe. For you, what I'm getting is, when you're connected to your soul, to your spirit, to what your soul came here to do. Like, why aren't you owning it, deck 4? Why aren't you owning it more? Why aren't you giving yourself permission to go for it more? Why are you giving all your power away to money when you are the one who has the power to create money, but you've given your power away to it? Wow, deck 4. If this resonates with you, take it, please. And I'm interested, you can let me know in the comments if this resonates or not. And it won't be for everyone, is what I'm getting, but for most of you watching this pile, it's quite possible that money feels difficult for you to make, or difficult to manifest the level of wealth you desire, because you've given your power away to it. You've said, when I have that level of wealth I desire, then I can start traveling the world. Then I can have more time with my family. Then I can have more downtime. Then I can write that book, whatever it is. Because you've given away your power to money, it's hard to mess money because you've got the rules backwards. You are the one who has the power to command money. Money does not have the power to command you, but you are so powerful that if you give money your power, it's now controlling you because you've done that. So again, it's that creative accountability. Take that power back. It's always yours to take back, always yours to pick up. This really, out of all the decks, is the most like calling you out one, I feel. But it's like, it's so powerful, and you are such, again, a powerhouse, a creative being, deck 4. That didn't come through with the other decks. It's not to say those people aren't, but specifically the universe is like, you're so powerful, you're so creative, you're so different, you're so unique. You are meant to be compensated for all of you. You're meant to have that life you desire. But it's going to start with you picking your power back up. When you pick up your power, it's so easy to live the delusion because you know that the delusion is your what you're creating, right? The reality that you're creating from the inside out is what becomes real. So, truly, where are you giving your power away to money, and where can you reclaim it so that you have the power to command money? Something to journal on. Where am I giving my power away to money? True manifestations are powered by service and love. What do we say here, right? It's a massive service with our double mission card to be all of who you came here to be, to give yourself permission to do what you want to do to make money, to create the wealth you desire, right? Like, it is of the highest service for you. Ooh, part of why I'm getting it so hard, maybe for you, too, especially like what I just pulled, I believe I'm worthy of feeling good. I just got this download for you, this message that there's almost this sense for some of you of, I have this idea of what I want to do and what I want to create, but I'm not worthy of it, or it's selfish for me to want that. It's not selfish. Like, when you follow your highest calling, your soul's calling, what your soul came here to do, what's truly on your heart, those things that we talked about that aren't fantasies, they're your path forward. When you truly follow those things, you will naturally not only become the best version of yourself that has a positive effect on others, but you will also be naturally led to help others. When we're all following our highest paths, meaning the paths, the actions, the lives that excite us, that feel good to us, that light us up, that feel like the most authentic expression of ourselves, when we're living those lives, we naturally are living the path of the highest good. We're living our highest path and the path that's going to do the highest good in the world. Those two are not mutually exclusive. They are intertwined. There is no such thing as being selfish when you are following your alignment. Selfishness comes from a place of not caring about others. When you care deeply for yourself, from a soul place and not an ego place, but from a soul place of, I care about myself, because when you care deeply about yourself and honor those nudges, honor the things that you feel called to do, those intuitive hits, the things that you truly want to do in this life and be compensated for, the way you want your life to be, when you truly follow that, you end up inspiring others, you end up helping others, you end up having more energy, you're more patient with others. Like, you in all ways help others. Does that mean some people might be triggered by you at times? Yeah, sure. But when you're doing it with good intent and taking care of yourself and what you desire to have, when you're tending to that, anyone who's triggered, who comes across your path and is triggered by you doing that, That's an opportunity for them to get in touch with themselves more and why they're triggered and why they don't feel like they can be all of them, right? Why it's so triggering to see someone being all of them and pursuing what they want. They might not take that as an opportunity to introspect, but it's you're always giving that opportunity, right? So it's not selfish for you to live the delusion. Not at all. It is actually of the highest service. I get the sense that was maybe one of the big things you needed to hear, right? So sit with that if that resonates with you, right? But there are a lot of different messages in this one for you, deck 4. Lots of interesting things. Really, the main takeaway here, it's like you might feel like you're in a box or that the money's limiting in some way, like your current financial reality is limiting you from being able to live the delusion and live the life you desire. But that belief that you're limited it comes from you. Take accountability for that. Like that, it sucks, right? Like it sucks when we realize that. I've been there. It sucks when we realize I'm the reason I'm stuck. That doesn't feel good. It would feel better to blame somebody or something. But when you can take the accountability, that also means, again, you take your power back. You pick up your power again. You get to say, okay, I created this box for myself. What else can I create? If I took my attention away from that, if I removed those limitations and instead created expansive rules for myself, what else could I create? If I've created this limitation, this current situation, this current financial reality, what can I create if I just apply myself a little bit? If I take accountability for the excuses I've maybe been making around money and start moving forward and actually building the life I want, inside and outside, what would happen? Miracles would happen. Amazing things would happen. Massive money manifestations would happen. Deck 4. So pick your power back up. That's the big thing. That's going to help you live that delusion, knowing your power, knowing that you've created everything and you get to create everything else. It's not to say that there aren't external things that happen that are out of your control. That absolutely does happen. But all the beliefs you build around it, all the stories you build around it, what you make it mean for you, that's within your control. You get to take accountability for that, and that's so empowering, right? This is very exciting for you. Okay, deck 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below letting me know what you took from it and how it resonated. I truly appreciate getting to see your comments and hearing how these readings connect with you. It means the world to me. You are welcome to subscribe to my channel for future card readings for abundance if you're not already subscribed. And of course, if you want to come join me inside of the Wealth Vibe membership so you can get access to all of the resources, support, and community you need to fully embody the wealth you desire, live that delusion, and more easily manifest the wealth you want into your life, then I would love to get to connect with you there inside of the membership. The link for the Wealth Vibe membership is in the description and pinned comment below. If you want to pre-order your copy of the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck so you can get divine guidance on demand for all things money and abundance, the link for that is in the description and pinned comment as well. After you order, be sure to claim your copy of the exclusive 2-hour wealth activation reading that I'm giving away for free as a thank you to everyone who orders by the end of May 2024. That link to claim that exclusive reading is also below. So, all of that being said, I'm wishing you massive prosperity, abundance, and delusional bliss, but also just a knowing of your power, deck 4, and just creating that life of your dreams starting right now. Don't put it off one more moment. And I'll see you in another video very soon.